Hey, I'm Kevin with Godlike Incorporated. Welcome to Tone Talk, Episode 9. I am here with Walter Stacy, the new guy. Walt is helping us out with some Tone Talks. He's a local player, great player, Berkeley grad, handsome devil. We love him. So what we're going to talk about today are Maxon Compressors. We get a lot of questions from people about the differences between the three Maxon compressors. So we're going to tell you, or at least Walter is, because I don't understand the differences. Well, they are different colors. So we'll start over here with the black one, the Maxon CP101 compressor. It's from the reissue series, small box. It's an optical compressor, and it is kind of a WYSIWYG compressor, 2 controls, simple to use. Also the most affordable out of the three. The Maxon CP9 Pro Plus is dead center. This is a reboot of the original CP9 from the 80s. The circuits are completely different. This is actually a DBX 160X compressor in a box using the Pro Audio ICs from the That Corporation. Say that 10 times. It's got much more compression, much more control over the compression, more output. It's got 30 dB of clean gain. It also uses Maxon's voltage doubling circuitry, so it's got a lot of headroom and a lot of low-end punch, which is great. Also works great for bass. Last but not least, the Maxon RTC600. It is in their new RealTube 2 series. The circuit is almost identical to the CP9 Pro Plus with the addition of 2 things, a tube and an attack and release control, so you can control when the compression starts and when it ends. So, boom, boom, boom. Walter, tell us about compression.
Okay. Well, first of all, a question I get asked all the time, pretty much, what is compression? I mean, or people think they know what compression is and they kind of misuse it. Basically, compression is just as simple as this. It's a leveler, automatic leveler, volume adjustment. It's taking your loudest note and your softest note and bringing them to common ground. Okay, and when it does this, dramatically, you get those kind of compression kind of sounds that guitarists love. This they call squash, or sound you hear in Chicken Pick, and you'll hear it. You know it when you hear it. The thing that's great about the 3 compressors I tried here, it's kind of like a compressor for everybody.
Okay.
Right. This one is so simple to use. All the attack and release has been done for you. It's kind of as when you use the level. It's giving you the calculations for you. And basically, it's all useful. So if you don't really know what you're doing with compression, you can kind of put this in your pedal board or just straight into your amp, and you're going to get useful compression. Okay. And it's on the dramatic side, actually, which is a good thing, especially live. In the studio, when you're doing guitar tracks, you might find there's some peaks and valleys you want to level out, and you would do that with a studio compressor or one of these guys possibly, even when you're playing. Live, you want to hear it. You want to kind of know you're doing that a little bit, especially if you do, like I said, a chicken picking thing. I'll show you real quick. You kind of get that at all these levels. Here's the compressor off. Okay, now you'll hear it more dramatically too with the chord too. Like the funk thing. With the compressor. It's leveling everything out, okay? The other thing about that is when you're playing with a band, that helps things sit in the mix well. Okay. Things that you might miss with your attack, it's all going to level itself out. So this compressor really is great. It's good in any scenario. You turn it on, it's going to sound good no matter what. I've messed with all the different settings on it. It's a really great first compressor. Really dramatic. That kind of thing. Also, it's also used to sustain notes as well, too. With these guys, you can control that a little bit more with your release and things like that. But, if I had distortion on, for example, a little gain on the amp. compressor on. You know, if you're doing something like blues, playing with a lot of dynamics,
Yeah.
you might want to stay away from compressor. If you're playing something with a lot of singing, long, sustained notes, you might want to use the compressor to bring that stuff out. So a lot of uses for it, stylistically. But again, this is a great one. I had a lot of fun messing with this one because it sounds good no matter where you set it.
Cool.
It's kind of idiot proof.
Yeah. So it's I was gonna say compression 101, compression for dummies.
There
right?
you go.
So
you know what I mean? There you go. And the good thing about it is, if it's his first compressor for you.
Yeah.
You can start to hear what it's doing at the different settings, and you start to relate to what it's doing. And then maybe if you're talking to a sound engineer, or you move on to a different compressor with some more controls on it, you kind of know how to dial in what you're looking for because you're used to hearing it.
Okay.
You know.
Now, you took this one out on a gig?
Yeah.
Okay. In your opinion, compared to other compressors from other brands, how did you feel it was from a noise standpoint? Because it's my understanding the optical circuits are typically more quiet than a VCA compressor.
Yes, definitely. And actually, a compressor I won't name that is like one of the most popular ones ever used in the studio. I had owned that one, and that one tended to be a little bit noisy.
Yeah.
And then you put it. Usually, you put a compressor too. You always put it. It's not a steadfast rule, but usually you want to compress first, then go into your other effects. Then it could really get dirty by the end of the chain. This one was pretty darn quiet. You can hear it. It's gonna come on a little bit.
Yeah.
With my pickup on, you'll hear it come up because it's bringing
Bringing
the
all
noise
your levels
floor
up. Yep.
So you hear it, but within a band context.
Another reason
And
why
that's with gain on it,
another
by the
reason why you don't want compressor after distortion,
Right.
because it's also going to amplify noise levels that are in the distortions in your chain as well.
I don't know
that's
if you
why
can hear this
typically-
on the clean channel. This is not too bad. That's very manageable.
Yeah,
At a
yeah.
gig, you're not going to hear that at all.
Yeah.
So that's pretty.
And
darn.
that's your compression sustain control is up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing. You're not going to hear that at all on a gig. So it fared really well on a gig.
Cool. Okay. That's the Maxon CP101 in the reissue series. So we're going to move on to the CP9 Pro Plus red box. What do you think of that guy?
This one's great because, as you explained in the opener, the clean headroom with this one. I would tend to use this one more, especially if I was recording. When I needed to fit something, like I said, fit something in the track, or I'm using it with other effects, and I want to just get that ratio right. So it's just more, what's the word, adjustable,
Yeah.
But a great sounding compressor. Again, here's everything just right in the middle. You can hear the extra gain this gives you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is something that'll really cut through the track a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, again, subtle. Now, right there, that's really doing a leveling without squashing it. Okay, I'm playing with some dynamics, and it's just kind of evening it all out. You're not getting that squash you get with this as much, to my ears, because you can lower your ratio. You put that ratio up, squash comes back. That's gain too, you know.
Yeah, it does higher gain. It starts to drive your amp a little bit too. So
absolutely.
Getting
So
natural
you can use that.
distortion
Yeah, you can use that as well. You can take a clean amp,
Yeah.
drive it a little bit with this too,
Yeah.
because you're just giving a clean volume boost.
Yeah. Cool. One thing I want to mention about the CP9 Pro Plus and other Maxon Pro Plus models is that we talk about it with the voltage doubler and it running at a higher voltage. That is internally. It's all done internally. It still takes 9-volt power, so it'll run off a 9-volt battery. We have it connected to a Powerall, which supplies 9 volts. But internally, it's running at 18, and with that additional voltage, you're just getting. It's just throwing more air. What I find when you use it with a bass, it's incredibly punchy. It's got a lot of low end. It's just like monstrous. So you never lack for being able to, like you said, like cut through a band mix or just drive a band with that.
Yeah, and again, that is the point of the compressor. That again, you're trying to make your parts come out. You're trying to level your volume.
It's almost counterintuitive because most people like strive to be dynamic and expressive on their instrument, and then you take this and you squash it all down. But really, when you're playing in a live situation, you need to do that sometimes so that you're able, to get over the snare drum, kick drum,
exactly,
whatnot. So so that's the Maxon CP9 Pro Plus. Okay, so last but not least, the Maxon RTC 600 compressor. And once again, like I said in the intro, the RTC technically is the same circuit as the CP9 Pro Plus with the addition of a tube that comes pre-compression, and then the attack and release controls, which allow you to fine-tune when the compression starts and stops. And that can give you a bunch of different effects, but I will let Walter explain that to you.
Yeah, this one I loved, really had fun with this one. This one, as obviously can be used in your pedal board. It's a pedal, that's what it's supposed to do. But man, I would use this as a studio compressor, as a go-to one, because it's so shapeable. You could do anything with it. Subtle compression, and then the makeup game with the tube. Something about how that reacts really seemed a lot more natural to me than adding, say, the gain on other pedals. It really sounds good. I'll demonstrate too. I mean, you can remember this really squash sound we got in the 101. You can get that. You just want to do a short attack and release with that sound, so you're getting it right away. Ratio all the way up, threshold all the way up. Okay, so with that, you're going from to this. Now, where's our gain? Okay, no volume. Well, with the makeup gain and with the tube, you bring it back in. Dramatic, real drastic, obviously. But with this, I mean, I'm getting, and it's quiet, man, to get that tube in there, to get that makeup gain back in, natural sounding, was remarkable to me because, like I said, even I've messed around doing some recordings with it, and it sounded just great.
I'm curious about this because you keep saying that it's great for recording, and it's actually, that's kind of how Maxon marketed this pedal. But do you do it? Are you using it direct into the board? Are you using it? Are you compressing the track after you've recorded it? How do you actually set it up?
Well, I was using this. Now you could put this in a on a bus and do it. I'm sure. I wasn't using it that way. I was just using it as part of my guitar chain as I was recording the track, and I was just making my adjustments. A lot of times, recorder's going to get compressed anyway, the overall, the stereo bus. But I mean, just for the guitar track, to get it where I want it. Because honestly, it also affects the feel of how you're playing. Sure. So you want that initially just to be inspired of how you're going to play. When I get a compressor, I play a little different, And like I said, it just sounded real natural, really good. Also, if you want to go with more subtle compression, you could probably play through. One thing I didn't try doing, which I'd like to try, is a lot of times if you're using a software or something, you can actually add the element of this tube in your signal with some slight compression and really make it sound like a tube amp that's compressing. I didn't try that, but I'm sure this does that really well just by design, So cool. That's something I would definitely mess with. Cool.
One really thing I thought was cool when we were demoing this stuff a while back was that brick wall compression setting that you showed me. So I don't know if you want to show that.
Wow, I forgot what it was.
I think it's it's like no attack and full release. So the compressing attack and release. Basically, attack determines how long it takes for the compression to turn on, and release how long it takes for the compressor to turn off. So what we're doing is full compression at all times. And like I remember we were really digging in. It's brick wall compression, like what everybody complains about new metallic. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Cool.
great for that.
Cool. So there you have it. I think any other words of wisdom on this?
Choose wisely the compressor that's right for you.
And in your budget.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maxon CP101, CP9 Pro Plus, RTC 600. All great. All have different uses. And that's
Definitely.
it. Tone Talk, episode 9. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kevin from Godlike. This is Walter. We'll see you soon. Go get some.